Good evening, everybody. Here we are doing a little dungeon crawl stone soup, and I'm picking up where I left off last evening, where we had a tremendous success picking up artifact items out the wazoo and clearing out the lair. So, what is it our job to do now? Well, we're going to pick a branch and go to it. I know in the Orcish Mines there was that named Joe Tun guy or whatever who was waiting for me, but I think I could probably beat him at this point. I'm not too frightened of him. But let's just push Shift G and see. Yeah, Jorgrun or whatever, or Jorgun. I think I could Jorgrun, I could beat him. But let's see where we can go. And the snake pit is reasonable to attempt at this point, but I haven't cleared to the depths yet, so let's just go back to the dungeon and take out the main dungeon. Let me actually give me 1 second here. I'm going to do something that I've been meaning to do for years. Let's see, where is that file? There is a file that I'm looking for here. Second. I could take out that EO. Yeah, I do have resist electric with somebody here. Let me see. Oh, well, whatever. I was going to try to make a change, but alright, let's look for him. Where is our good buddy, the eel? He's at the top of one of the floors. Anyway, let's just go back to the dungeon and see what we can find, shall we? My goal here is really to try to just get some more treasure, right? Make ourselves stronger before we attempt in earnest a branch. I like to get down to the depths first before I make that decision. The Orcish Mines I could probably do. Let's go down. Alright, Dungeon 12. It's all new to me. We got ourselves a little scorpion. We'll take him out. Okay, and so we've got a hippogriff, which is not really a problem at all, and one singular slime. Okay. Luckily, we were able to take out that slime before he joined with his buddy. So these guys are going to become 2 slimes, but 2 slimes, not a problem. 3 slimes, ouch, and then any more, even I could be dead at that point, which would be rough. And I don't say even I, meaning like, you know, I'm some kind of tremendous player. I mean, my gear is really, really strong. Alright. So, let's see. Okay, killed that crocodile. We got a centaur zombie. Oh, we got a gargoyle. Oh, he's kind of... Gargoyles can be annoying. Okay, let's just clean this guy out. He tried to shoot me or throw something at me and got blasted for it. Alright, a blossoming altar of Fedhas. Okay, fine. And then a bunch of orcs. Chop them up. See what we got. Orcs, 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 orcs. Okay. Let's push O and just hop on the auto explore train. A phantom at this point is no problem. A bunch of orcs is a joke. Okay, sweet. Scroll of teleport, great. Cure. Wounds potion and a bunch of monkeys. I don't really like murdering monkeys, but I have no choice. Ooh. There's a good item, a lamp of fire. Love that. Alright, so let's get over to this lamp of fire. Just try to add it. Add it to our massive inventory. Alright, chop these guys up. Get a bunch of food and a lamp of fire. That's terrific. Staircase leading down. And we've done Dungeon 12. Alright, well, that was pretty painless, I think. Let's hop down. Oh, okay. So just as a reminder, these are acid dragon scales, but we are looking for fire dragon scales to open that treasure trove. I do have 3 scrolls of enchant armor. I need 4 to open the trove. So I'm just keeping that on the old radar. Oh boy. Okay. So there's Rupert. Rupert is somebody who can be annoying because he can go berserk and he's got a big battle axe. Looks like he can also paralyze and confuse me. That's annoying, but it's the berserk with the battle axe that's generally the problem for me with the Rupert. With the Roopster. Okay. So I'm going to just chop a little bit and see how I can do... Oh, he's already done his thing and gone insane berserk on me, but I just went heroic and am just kind of... I'm not tabbing at this point. I'm just attacking him turn by turn to see how this plays out. This is a really favorable spot to take on Rupert because there's nobody down here who can use an ability that goes through line of fire and is hitting me. Like there's no smite or any kind of casting at all, really. These are just all melee people. And then Rupert himself, even if he started going nuts, I could get to a staircase and run away. But for the time being, we're okay. Yeah, we wrecked him. So he's got this big battle axe of Holy Wrath, which I'm actually going to pick up and keep just in case I find some kind of like demon or undead thing that I need to give the Holy Wrath and I need to kill them really quickly. I'm already good with axes, so why not? Alright, and I'm just continuing to chop through. This is kind of like a really good situation for me. Let me push A, and did I already turn off invocations? I did. Let me zoom out so you can see this. And let me make my decision. I'm training fighting, axes, armor, and shields at the moment. I'm actually pretty happy about that. That's fine. I was talking to someone over on Reddit, and they were trying to promote the idea that I should level up evade a bit. And I'm not entirely against that, just to have an extra way to not get hurt. I'm curious, like, I'm sure I can find this on the wiki because the wiki is really, really awesome, but I'm curious what the order of operations is in terms of determining damage that you take. Like, so there's incoming damage. Does it first roll against your evasion, then against your shield, then against your armor? Like, what's the sequencing there? Not that I guess it matters too much, but it would be good to know. But I really might pump up evade this time. I have so much dexterity that this dexterity of 24 is way higher than I normally have because I have I have a +6 ring and a +7 item, I think. Oh, and here's the vaults down here. That's why it's surrounded by all those melee people. I'm going to treat the vaults with the respect it deserves because my really good run last time ended on vaults 2 to some poor play against some entropy weavers. Ooh! And we have some mosquitoes who tried to sneak in behind, but unfortunately for these vampire mosquitoes, actually, let me just take an aside here. Is there a difference between a regular mosquito and a vampire mosquito? Like, aren't mosquitoes inherently vampiric? They're after the same thing, right? I mean, what's the difference? Like, is it a cape? Is it the ability to turn into a bat? I mean, the bloodlust is there either way. Anyway, just something to think about. But the other thing is, I love how these guys tried to flank me. So you see these, you know, vampire mosquitoes, they're coming up. And these are just regular humans, by the way. I feel terrible. They're just in their Sunday finest getting wrecked. But you can't sneak up on an axeman because you're going to get hit. So I'm swinging down, and this is my primary target. So he's a secondary target, so he's going to take 70%, and he's almost dead. I'm just like swinging my axe in this ridiculous circle, chopping through all these people. Okay. Let's just have a butchery festival. I'm going to pick up the battle axe, like I said. Do I have any identify scrolls? I do not. I've got some amulets that I would like to ID as well. Alright, Howler Monkey. Let's chop him up. Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, Trog gave me a weapon. Okay, so... I'm sorry, Trog, God, another blasphemous remark. And that's really offensive considering how good Okawaru's been to me this game. Okawaru gives you weapons or armor. So, you know, you never know. He gave me this glowing war axe, which I'm going to pick up and try on to just see what brand it is. Oh, crap, it's distortion. That's awful. That was like the only bad brand I could get. Yep. Okay, so let me talk about what just happened. You never really want to... There's always a chance if you just pick up an item and put it on like a weapon and you don't know what it is, that it could be a distortion brand weapon. And what happens is there's a chance when you take it off that it can banish you or high damage. It did the damage to me, and so I was at 115. It took me down to 96, and then it put this little I can't teleport debuff on me, so that's quite annoying, actually. I'm going to put my Dream Axe back on, throw this down. I will never use it. I'm just going to rest to heal up. The debuff has worn off, and so we can continue exploring. Here's an ice beast. Let's just send him to hell. And here comes a hungry ghost. Now, first of all, they changed the hungry ghost graphic. He used to be a lot fatter. I think he might... I wonder if he gets fat as he hits me. The thing about the hungry ghost is that he makes you hungry. He's like hitting you and making you hungry. He drains sustenance from you, hoping to inflict its own miserable fate on others, like which is to be hungry throughout eternity. I've been killed before by hungry ghosts that make you starve to death, and it's a miserable way to lose the game. I don't know if they can still kill you outright because of that, but Jesus, it's something you want to be very, very wary of. So whenever I see hungry ghost, I kind of clench up a little bit in the buttocks region and make sure that I'm prepared. So let's go over here and fight this guy. I'm going to go heroic just to use a little extra ability to make sure I win, okay? Now look, he hit me. I'm already hungry. One hit. Okay, so I was able to kill him fast enough to where he couldn't keep hitting me and making me so hungry. But it doesn't always go down like that, so you have to treat those guys with respect. I'm going to rest, so I eat. There's a shield, but it's not a large shield. Remember, we are on the lookout for a large shield. That is definitely an upgrade that this build wants. As soon as you can get a large shield and heavy armor, like plate, whatever, throw it on. You want that. I'll show you why in a moment. Oop, here comes the centaur trying to hit me. Let's just stand here and let him kill himself, because I reflect. Ha ha ha. Okay, cool. Scroll of Identify. Let's use this. What do I want to identify? I want to identify these potions. 3 potions of cancellation. Okay, so that's good to know. Alright, and that's the end of Dungeon 13. Okay, I'm hungry. But it's not as big of an issue to be hungry with Okawaru as it is with Trog, so we can do a little bit and see if we can get some food. Nope. Not yet, not yet. Oh, okay. So, I'm sorry, I can't see this guy. I thought I had something that did see invisible. Apparently not yet. So I'm just going to stand here and swing. And I'm just going to hold control and push right. And I'm swinging at a circle. And it's hitting me and, you know, kind of like moving in and out of place. And now it's dead. And my axis skill has gone up to 16. And I'm going to eat this. Now, you saw me before when I was training my skills turn off invocations because my fail rate on my god abilities is so low now that it's not a big deal. But I'm not going to turn off axes even though they're so tremendous. Now they're not really 21, they're still +5 from heroism, so they're 16. The max you can get a skill is 27, and you want to max out your main weapon skill, your armor skill, and your shield skill. And then any other skills that you can max up, like fighting, invocations, evocations, potentially a ranged attack, and then evasion, dodging, do that. Oh! Uh-oh. 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 Okay. So, I stepped into the line of sight of Roxanne, who is a named statue. Alright, so a lot of things are happening here. She, Romaine, Geomancer Emeritus, comes into view. So she was once apparently a professor at the Geomancy School, and she has since retired and just enjoys the Emeritus status. And she dwells here in her retirement. Now, the Orb of Energy hit my shield. Remember, because I have reflection, I have this necklace of reflection down here in my inventory. And it hit her. Now, also, the game is marking all areas within Roxanne's line of sight and her range that are unsafe for travel. That's what these big red X's mean. So it's like, don't walk here or Roxanne is going to shoot you. She'll blast you with a big ball of energy. Now, that's, you know, something she is wont to do. She was hurt only a little bit by her blast, and I'm not really going to try and fight Roxanne. I don't have any need to do that. She is stationary, being a statue, so we can just avoid her. If there was some game-changing item that I had to have, I might consider it. Ooh, a haste potion and a heal wounds potion. Those are two primo potions. In terms of what potions you want with this build, the most important potions in no particular order are potions of curing, potions of heal wounds, haste, okay? Those are all tremendous. And then from there, might can be very, very helpful. Flight is great utility. Invisibility can be good utility. And then there are other reasons, like you might want cancellation to get rid of some kind of horrible magic effect that's on you. It's quite possible that that gets on you. Agility is not really too helpful, especially considering how high my agility is, but you never know. Now, earlier when I was looking my evade, it was 10, because I got that +5 from heroism, and I think given the fact that my evade is 6, I'm going to just start leveling up evade, because the early return rate on leveling up evade is so high, and the experience required to do it is so minimal compared to what my other skills are at, that I can probably just shuck some experience at dodging right now and really, really trick out my evade skill. So I'm going to just turn on dodging here. I'll push M to open up the skills window. And I'm going to just use the mouse here, or you can just push G to turn dodging on, and it's lit up now, and it's telling me that it's on. And like I was saying about the cost of dodging, dodging right now, because I have a 0 skill at it, my skill level is 0, it costs me 0.8. So like for each, to raise this up, this is the rate of experience that it consumes to do that. Look how many experience points it's taking to move up something like armor, 17.7 versus 0.8 to nudge it up. So that gives you an indication of how easy it's going to be to just level this up for a bit. I have a +1 aptitude at this, which isn't as good as my +2 aptitude for other things, but it's still much better than it could be. So we'll take it, and let's just level it up. Okay, so here are some whites. Remember, whites are as dangerous as their weapon is. Like, if they get a sick weapon with a brand on it, they can be complete jerks. But right now, they're really not going to be hard for me. And I'll just mow through them. They had a +1 battle axe. Whites can be cool because if you're looking for a particular weapon, they might just have it, or they might have that brand that you need for certain branches. Okay, so here are some guys that are going to try to do fire damage to me. And it's Azrael. Okay, I'm going to push AA to go heroic. If you recall, I do have 1 resist fire right now, so I should be okay here. If Azrael starts hitting me hard, I will use finesse. He did hit me pretty damn hard right there. He hit me with a Sphere of Damnation, which is annoying, and is basically the only way he's going to seriously impact me. But he's dead. So, who got the last laugh? I did. Okay, let's check my dodging. It's already gone up to level 1. Alright, so that's good. Moving right along here on Dungeon 14 with BoFine the Tortoise. I'm a Minotaur Tortoise. I bet you didn't think that was possible. Just in case you were ever curious, this little suffix after your name, kind of like your title, is generally reflective of whatever skill you have at the highest level. And so right now I have shields, armor, the same skill level. So it's going to choose one of those. I don't know how it makes its choice, but that's the idea. So I'm a tortoise because I have a shell, because I block... Actually, tortoise might not be shield, it might be armor. You know, either one makes sense. They're both really defensive things. Okay, so let's go into this, slimies. Remember, when you see slime creatures, one of them is easy, and they get exponentially more difficult as they multiply and add together. So just the 2 of these is fine, but you see that quickly it would have added up to 3. They can come in packs as much as 5, I believe. And if they make a titanic slime creature, run away. Run away. Even I, with a 30 armor class and a 25 shield skill, 24 strength, you know, level 14, and everything that I have, I would run. Okay, here comes a Cyclops throwing rocks at me. I'm going to let him throw rocks at me because I can dodge him so easily. Yep, I just killed him with his own rocks. He didn't hit me once. And that's amusing. Alright, let's find that hippogriff. Where are you, hippogriff? Oh, okay. Sorry. Again, this is a point where sound effects would be so helpful, but they don't have them. What's going on here is that I'm getting hit by something that's invisible. Okay? So what you need to do when something invisible is hitting you is generally, if you have a single target weapon, you want to try to find a corridor so that he can only hit you from one tile, and then move back and forth and just try to bop them in the square that they are going to land in if they want to hit you, and just eliminate their range. But for me, I have an axe, so I'm just going to hold down control, and I'm just going to kind of swing my axe in a circle. And you'll see here it says I swing at nothing, and then it hits me but does no damage, and then it's like you slash something. And so I'm swinging, but I'm blocking, and I'm hitting, and I'm blocking, and I'm hitting, and sometimes, I don't know if it's because they make noise or what gives them away, their silhouette will appear and give you an indication of where they are probably at. And I killed it. So, whenever you kill the invisible thing, you always know that you have, because it'll say reactivating auto pickup. Your auto pickup turns off when there's an invisible thing around. It's a ring of stealth, okay? So that's garbage for me. I've already identified that, so I know what it is, so I'm getting rid of it quickly. I'm going to, now, I was going to use my Scrolls of Enchant armor, but I'm saving those for one of two outcomes. The one outcome, which is less likely, would be that I get a set of Fire Dragon scales, and I can use those to open up the treasure trove that requires a set of +4 Fire Dragon scales. Okay, so there's that option. I'm not getting this gold pile, by the way, because it's only 19 gold, and I have, what, 1,419 gold. I need a shop really badly, and Roxanne will blast me. Actually, this is a good point to bring this up. If you have a lot of gold and it's burning a hole in your pocket and you get to this stage in the game, and that stage in the game is like Dungeon 14 where you're about up to the depths, and then your next decision, at least for me with the way I like to play through, before I go into the depths, I like to explore at least one of the sub-branches that I've discovered. And I'm going to go to the Orcish Mines now. That's my first choice. It probably would have been anyway, but the reason is because on the bottom floor of the Orcish Mines, if you can clear it out, it's actually quite tough, but if you can clear it out, there are shops that will populate every single time. I think you can get 4 shops, and so there's a very good chance that you'll find something to spend your money on. So if you got a big stack of money, go to the Orcish Mines if you can handle it, and try to find some shops. Okay, anyway, I'm going to keep exploring. Dungeon 14, I think we're just about done here. Yep. We can't explore all places. It says partly explored. Can't reach some places because the excluded travel means I can't go like back here in this area, but that is totally fine. And I'm going to go down. Now, on this floor somewhere, there will be a bunch of hard enemies guarding the door to the depths. So, yeah, this is probably it right here. It's usually in some kind of, like, stone enclosure. Some kind of nice little area marks the staircase down into the depths, and it's surrounded by enemies. So I'm going to just kind of, like, attract some of their attention and move away. Now, normally I would move further away, but there is a manticore here. A manticore is a prick because he will put barbs on you, which makes it makes you hurt if you move. And so I don't want to get too far away, and then he puts barbs on me, and since I don't have much range, I'm going to take damage trying to move toward him. That's just not a thing that I want to have happen. So I'm going to kill them, eat, and oh, a bunch of ugly things. Alright, uglies. Come with me, please. Ugly things can be harder than you would expect. So I'm just going to move really far away and kill these guys. Okay. Doing good, doing good. You can see my evasion is already up to 7 by putting my dodging almost up to 2 at this point. So, quick return. Alright, Cyclops. Are you going to try to throw a stone at me? I wish you would. Okay. Come on, buddy. Throw another one. I'll wait here all day for you to kill yourself with your own boulders. That never gets old. Ooh, Trog gave me another artifact hat. Could it in some way be better than the previous artifact hat that I got? I don't know, but I will tell you this. I'm at a point in the game where I'm actually going to have to establish a stash because my inventory is too robust. So I will pick this up, and now my grid of inventory is completely full. I can no longer pick anything up, alright? So I'm going to go to an area for my stash. Now, Fading and I like to use the lair as our stash, just because of old time's sake. It used to be the best place to use your stash because most of the enemies there didn't have hands and they couldn't pick up your weapons and wander off with them. But I believe that that feature of the game has been taken out. So it's just more a homage than anything, or habit. I'm going to push Shift G to bring up the branches I can go to. Push Shift L for the layer, and I'm going to default to the first floor of the layer, and I'm just going to auto path all the way back there. It will stop when you get hungry. Okay, and now I'm just going to find some open place here. This works great, and just start putting items down on the ground that I do not need to carry right now. So this amulet, I don't know what it is. I will come back when I have a scroll of identify. This scroll of amnesia, I do not need it. Let's see. These scrolls of potions of agility, no thank you, I don't need them. Potion of brilliance, I don't need that right now. A scarf of repulsion, I don't need, considering I have this necklace of reflect. If I got a different necklace, maybe I would consider that. I will keep the cloud immunity. I'm going to drop this Battle Axe of Holy Wrath right now. It's not tremendously high on my list. It will not do more damage than my plus 11 War Axe. Maybe if there's a real desire to go someplace where Holy Wrath is a must, I'll take it, but for now it's not a big deal. I'm going to drop that unidentified amulet. I'm going to drop one of my rings of magical reserves. Wand of Paralysis, no thank you. Wand of Flame, nah, not really, don't need that. Wand of Clouds, what is this? Yeah, it makes clouds, which can be good, but I'm crappy right now with evocations, so I'm not even going to bother with that. So what you want to do with your stash, and this is a really fun point of the game to get to, where you have so much stuff that you actually need to do some inventory management, that signifies a real progress. Like when your inventory fills up with stuff that's so good that you don't want to drop it, that's great. I'm going to drop it used to be a lot faster that your inventory would fill up, by the way, because of two things. Number one, spellbooks used to take up space in your inventory, and number two, food used to not be a singular stack. It used to be each different type of food took up a slot, and that was awful. So this was a huge boon to inventory management. I'm actually going to put down this artifact cap that I have and wait until I get an identify scroll. You might say, well, why not just blind identify it? Well, because as you can see, my artifact hat actually, the only negative thing about this duck's teeth hat is that it contaminates you if you take it off. Contamination is a real problem where if you get enough contamination on you, you can get mutated and all kinds of bad crap can happen. And I don't particularly want to deal with that at all, so I'm not going to. I'm going to just wait until I can identify the cat. What else do I want to put down? Sorry, this is a little bit of a tedious process. You don't really have to do this very much in the game at all. I've cleared up already one row of inventory space. My evocation skill isn't really high enough for me to want this sack of spiders or this box of beasts. I'll come back if I get evocations up and those are actually worthwhile. I will keep this lamp of fire because that's still good. I'm going to drop my scrolls of enchant armor for when waiting until I get my shield. I'm going to actually use my scroll of enchant weapon on my evening star just in case there's any more hydras. And everything else I want to keep for utility purposes. I'm going to drop this artifact scale mail until I can identify it. I was only keeping that around for a fringe possibility that I might need some kind of crazy resistance, but I'm wearing crystal plate, so scale mail is a huge downgrade. I wouldn't put it on any other way. Alright. Okay, this is enough cleaning of the inventory space for now. Actually, I'll drop this Wand of Scattershot and this Wand of Ice Blast, because it only has 2 charges anyway, just to clean out. Alright. Good, good, good. Okay, so now, you might think to yourself, well, this is a pain in the butt. You put all your stuff down, and what I like to do when I put my stuff down, by the way, you can just put it in one stack. It doesn't matter. You can stack stuff in one square for as large as this grid appears, so you can stack stuff quite deep. But for me, I like to be able to see what each thing is and just mouse over it to identify it, so I put it on its own individual tile, okay? Now, you don't have to worry about misplacing anything or losing anything, because remember, all you have to do is do Control F to find and search, and you'll be like, oh man, didn't I have like some kind of artifact hat? And you just type in hat, and it shows you all the hats that you've discovered throughout the entire game, and you're like, oh, that's right. The hat that I'm, the one that I am wearing, it just says carried. The one that I put in the, this is where I put it, over here. And you can just push, select this, and then it will path to it, right? It'll like say, it'll put that yellow square around it, which means like you want to go there, and you're like, yep, and then you push enter to confirm, and you just travel right to it. No matter where you are, as long as there's a viable path for you to do that. So you can easily get back to this point, and, matter-of-factly, I can easily get back to where I was, because I'm just going to push Shift-G, and I'm going to say, go back to the dungeon, and I'm going to say, can you take me back to level 14 of the dungeon, because that's where I left off? And then the game's like, well, of course I can do that, and remember, it will stop when you're auto-traveling if you get hungry. It's a little bit annoying, but whatever. It's important to know, so it's good that it does it. I mean, it's always good when the game stops for you to help you out. Okay, so I'm very hungry, so I am going to eat, just so there's nothing that goes sideways here. Because this is, like I said, the area where all of the jerks are living. Hey, I'm level 15. Okay, now, again, as before, unfortunately, the glory days of me being a Minotaur and just maxing out my strength are behind me. I'm getting smarter in my old age, and I have to raise this intelligence. I really want this to be above 10 or above, just to protect me against something that drains my intelligence and kills me. So I am going to have to raise intelligence, even though I pretty much don't have much use for it at all. And there we go. I feel clever. It doesn't feel great, but if you ever lose a deep run because of your intelligence getting drained, you'll feel terrible. You'll feel so bad. You'll be like, but I had full health, and I was rocking it. What happened? So you want to protect yourself against a YASD scenario with losing your intelligence. All right, I'm going to kill all these orcs. Huh. So maybe this wasn't the entrance to the depths. It just kind of felt like it, but it was really a altar of Dithmanos instead. Well, maybe the entrance to the depths is in this center portion of the map that I have yet to identify. Okay, so it's a Spriggan Berserker zombie. The joke's on him, though, because when you're undead, you can't go berserk. It's a cruel fate. How do I know this? Because I've tried to play undead classes before of Trog, and I immediately go to spam berserk, and it doesn't work. It's very sad. Actually, that might not be entirely accurate. You might not even be able to go Trog. A lot of gods won't accept undead as a follower. Maybe that's just mummies, but it might be all undead. And so it might have been if I got like an Amulet of Berserk Rage or something, then I couldn't use it. Either way, that was a Iron Dragon skeleton, and we just rocked it. Oftentimes, the undead counterparts of enemies are much easier than their living counterparts, if not all times. An Iron Dragon would be annoying at this point, but luckily he wasn't because he was a skeleton. Now this guy, this Vampire Mage, I'm just going to check out what he can do, but that sounds really bad. He can summon undead, which is annoying. He can drain me, he can turn invisible, and he has a bolt of draining. And he's got Abjuration, which means he can rock summon things. So, annoying. But he only has 55 hit points, so I can probably one-shot him if I can get onto him. I'm going to try to just throw something at him. I've got these silver javelins. Yeah, I hit him. Oh, and look, he just summoned all this crap to, like, try and scare me. Which it actually does kind of scare me. I don't want to have anything to do with this summon stuff. So I was hoping that the Vampire Mage himself would walk down this corridor with me, and so I could just destroy him. Unfortunately, that it didn't work that way. These aren't particularly difficult summoned minions, but fighting summoned minions is so stupid. You don't even get experience for it. Oh, and also, just looking at the text, the Vampire Mage has gone invisible, so it's very possible that he's actually back here. What I'm going to do is just test that theory. I'm going to test the theory that he is hidden behind here, and I'm going to use this Wand of Acid, and I'm going to just target this as far as I can go, which is this Centaur Warrior. And it's going to hit everything in its path, and if that that Vampire Mage is there, it'll hit him. It didn't seem to hit him. No, I'm going to wait. Okay. Sorry, I don't want to walk into this freezing vapor. I'm just going to push S to wait, push S to wait. And, okay, I'm hitting something. And so the vampire is right here. He's on me. That's actually the best case scenario. So I'm going to push A, and I'm going to go heroic, and I'm just going to swing and start killing all these guys around here. And hopefully I'll start hitting the vampire. I'm not hitting him, though. He must have run away. Unless I killed him, actually. He didn't. He's a glass cannon, so if I connected with my axe at all, with my strength, my axe skill, and a plus 11 axe, he probably just died. Let me go ahead and look at the text window, bring up the full zoom of that. Okay, where are we at? Here we go. No. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, okay. This is the indication right here. We got auto pickup reactivated, and I felt a bit more experienced. Whenever you see this, also his summons disappeared with him. His mummy and his white disappeared, so we definitely killed him. So that's fantastic. That is fantastic. I just didn't want to get drained because that's annoying. All right, these guys suck. Let's just kill them. Ooh, this guy's got a big ass weapon. Look at this longsword. Chaos, lets you berserk, strength +5, and intelligence +3. That's kind of cool. It's not better than what I have, and I'm not using longsword, so I'm not going to do anything with it, but that's a cool item. All right, so I got a scroll that I don't know what it does. I'm going to blind read it. Scrolls that I don't know what they are yet. I believe I don't know what Holy Wrath is. I don't know what Torment is. But I'm secretly hoping it's a scroll of acquirement. It was a scroll of Holy Word. I'm sorry, not Holy Wrath, Holy Word. Okay, well, now we know. Yet another scroll identified the hard way. Okay, so let's drop this stupid scroll of amnesia. I don't want it. And let's keep exploring. Okay, here's a troll that's wandered into view. I'm going to back him up into this corridor, okay? And just push S, wait for him to come to me, and chop, 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 chop. He's dead. And I'm just going to... Oh, we got an orc sorcerer. I actually want to go up on him and not let him do his thing. He can be annoying. Yeah, because he summons. Ooh, artifact hand axe. Look at this thing. I'm actually going to pick this up. It's a +9 flaming hand axe that lets you fly and gives you 2 times resist negative energy. So that's really tremendous. I'm not going to use it for the damage at all because my war axe is still much better. But if there's a scenario, like for example, I can use this instead of my Evening Star on a Hydra because it's flaming. But also that 2 times resist negative energy is very strong. Look at my resist negative energy right now. It's at 1. So if I ever wanted, was like fighting some kind of undead or necromantic thing that was going to be using a bunch of negative energy on me, I could put that on and feel really good. So that's a terrific discovery. Speaking of that, the timer's about to tick on Okawaru as well too. Ooh. Now I didn't notice this again, but you always want to kind of look up here in this window. My intelligence has been drained by 2, down to 5. Again, this is just a reminder why I had to freaking put a point of intelligence in a point towards intelligence when I hit level 15. Even though I don't like intelligence, I don't use intelligence, I don't want to put a point in intelligence, this can happen to you very easily, and the deeper you get into the game, the more frequently this happens, and if you get 0 intelligence, you lose the game. 0 of any stat, you lose the game. At least as far as I know. They might have taken that out, but still, bad things will happen to you, and you probably just will lose anyway. The game likes to just kill you like that. So, it provides you with a cushion to get your intelligence up. Think about if I hadn't put that there, how close to death I would be. It would just take some draining enemies, or guys that could intelligence eaters to just ruin my day. Okay, so I push O to auto-explore, and it tells me I am done exploring, which means I'm all done with everything until the depths, okay? And so the depths are right here. The depths are significantly harder than the regular dungeon, even the level 15 of the regular dungeon. For that reason, I personally don't want to go there right now. I want to get some more levels, get some more gear in a sub-branch of the dungeon. And so I'm going to push Shift-G, and I'm going to go to the Orcish Mines. So I'm going to push Shift-O to select it, and push Enter to select the default, which is the first floor. Oh, this is good to find a centaur here, and I'm going to do my comedic kill with Reflection. Just push S to wait for him to kill himself. And it's nice to find a centaur because I was hungry anyway. So that interrupted my auto-travel to the Orcish Mines. So I'm going to push Shift-G again, and you can see that in the teal here, where it says where to, it remembers where you were trying to go, and you can just push Enter, and you will start picking up your path to the Orcish Mines. And also, auto-travel will eat before you move, so I get to rip into some cold centaur. And here is immediately our buddy Jorgrun. Okay, so he's going to be hard, so we're going to fight him. I'm going to push A to go heroic, and I'm going to close the distance, and I'm going to push B to go A and then B to go finesse and chop at this guy until he's dead. And we got him. Okay, so before, he was too dangerous for me to fight unless I was guaranteed to get up close to him because of his spells that can just rip damage out of nowhere. Now, we killed him, which is fantastic. So now we can explore this with impunity. And also, my intelligence has raised up 1 point, almost back to max. So that's very good. Want to get that back there so I don't have to worry. I'm picking up stones, which I don't want. I will drop those. I've got my javelins. Ooh, there's a shop already. Remember, one of the main reasons I came to the Orcish Mines was to explore and get the shops that are on the second floor. But shops can populate anywhere, and there's a shop here. Unfortunately, it's a bookshop, and so I'm not using spell books at the moment, but bookshops can be good, and let's see if this one is. Because they can have things which are training guides. So they're really expensive if they ever pop, but you can find a manual of some skill, and then when you read it, it will give you a huge boost to the experience that you gain towards leveling that skill. And they're awesome. So I would spend all my money on like a manual of shields or armor of axes or something like that. Unfortunately, none of that's here. Now, if I did decide to pivot at some point in the game and I got so powerful that I could actually consider casting spells, probably not with my bad intelligence and my heavy-ass armor, but let's just say I did. By visiting this place, the game remembers everything I saw here and all the contents. So I can search for a spell or a spell book if I want to get it, and it will remember, hey, it was in that shop that you saw, and you can go back to it. So, ooh, another shop, and it's a jewelry emporium. Now this could be immense. Let's go inside. Okay, what do we got? What do we got? All right. Amulet of Harm, I don't want it. It's never a good idea, in my opinion, to go harm, okay? It lets you do more damage, which is cool, but it also makes you take more damage, which is never something that you want. No matter, I mean, I just, no. Now, here's what I'm going to do. There's no artifacts in here, which sucks, and there are really no rings that I actually want. There's a bunch of rings of wizardry and stealth, which suck for me. This ring of See Invisible I'm actually going to buy because I do need to be able to see invisible, and I can't at the moment. But the main thing I'm going to buy are these red rings. Just 2 of them, because 2 of them are the same. But I'm going to buy this Cursed Ring of Attention and this Cursed Ring of Teleportation. And you might say, well, why the hell would you do that? First of all, they're cheap. And what they do is if you buy them, they identify them forever. You don't equip them, you just buy them. And now whenever I see one of these things in the dungeon, I won't need to waste a scroll of identify. I'll know what the hell it is. And for 76 gold, that is a bargain. Okay, so I'm going to buy these 2 rings. Hey man, what's up? How you doing? And so, just playing a little dungeon crawl here. You played this before? Kind of trying to help people out with the game, get into the game a little bit, walk them through my thought process as I venture into Zot's dungeon trying to get his orb with different builds. Right now we're playing Minotaur Fighter, and I'm showing the strength of Minotaur. I'm also going to buy this Ring of See Invisible, so I'm going to click on it, and the little plus symbol appears by any item that you are buying right now, and he's telling you in this yellow text, here's how much gold you have, and after you buy it, you will have this much, okay? And then when you're ready to buy, you just push enter to make your purchase. I don't want to buy this. I don't need magic resistance at all, and I don't need wizardry. So I'm just going to buy these items. I'm going to push enter, and he'll confirm that you want to buy them, and you just push Y for yes. You say, hell yeah, I want to buy those things, and then you exit the shop. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is move up here, and you see these 2 cursed rings have entered my inventory. I'm going to just push shift and left click on them to just drop them on the ground because I don't want to have anything to do with them. I was just buying them so I know that if I see rings like this that are, you know, would previously be unidentified, once you identify a particular type of item in this game one time, every subsequent time you see it, you will know what it is. Otherwise, you have to use a scroll of identify, which are extremely limited to figure out what it is. And they put a bunch of cursed items like this in the game so that you don't just go wearing stuff, because you can also identify an item by putting it on. You just run the risk of putting on a cursed item, and then you can't take off a cursed item unless you use a scroll of remove curse, and that's a pain in the butt. So those are identified, and I'm good. And now you can see that I'm also carrying around this ring of See Invisible right here in my inventory, and if an invisible enemy comes, now I can just throw that on if they're particularly dangerous. Okay, so I'm just pushing O to auto explore, and it's telling me that I'm done exploring. What that means is that there's nowhere else on this floor that I need to go, so I'm going to go down. Now, I will say something about the Orcish Mines, okay, that's worth mentioning. This is the only staircase up, okay, to get back out of this place. And I found that by pushing Shift X and then by pushing Shift comma to use the left caret to search for an up staircase. You can also push Shift left caret to go up the staircase. Now, if you look over here at the mini-map, you'll see that there's plenty of open space, because very frequently the Orcish Mines, there's probably a chamber down here, but you can only get to it by going down to the next level and then finding another staircase up, okay? So just bear that in mind, that there might be something worthwhile over there. Now, the second floor of the Orcish Mines is considerably more difficult than the first floor, so it's going to take some patience to clear it out. I'm going to go down the steps and just see what I can see. Okay, so let me talk you through what I see. Right away, we've got the staircase to the Elven Halls, which is a branch of the dungeon that's always accessible through the Orcish Mines. It is much harder than the Orcish Mines, and I leave it for later in the game. The first floor is doable. Second floor and beyond, very, very challenging. Late game, extended type stuff. There's not an orb, a rune of Zot in there, so it's optional. But if you can clear out the Elven Halls, they have a massive treasure cache with sweet items generally that's worth it. Now, I also see an ogre, and this explored box is my field of view. So the ogre sees me, okay? And he's going to come get me. So I'm just going to wait for him here. I'm just going to push S to pass the turn, and just keep pushing S, and he's going to keep moving at me. And I'm going to stand on the staircase and just fight him. By pushing the direction key toward him. Now, the reason I'm doing that is, if more enemies wanted to come in, I would just go back up the steps and do something that we call in this game stair dancing. And what happens when you go up the steps or go down the steps, all the enemies in the adjacent squares will either go down or up with you, if they can. Undead enemies won't do that, summoned enemies won't do that, but most enemies will. And this allows you to limit how many guys you're fighting. And it's an extremely important way to keep yourself alive in this game. So I just kind of am moving up and alerting the attention of some other orcs. And I'm just going to wait. I'm pushing S to wait. Now, if I were less powerful, I would just go up and fight this guy one-on-one. But I'm going to stand here and fight just because these particular orcs are not a problem for me. Now, things get to be problematic when you see something like this Orcish Priest here. Orcish Priest can smite, which requires no line of fire, and ignores my shield and my armor. And so it just rips hit points off of me. And it's awful, okay? It's Smite, Hellfire, and Torment are the bane of any heavy armor, sword and board, or, you know, one-handed weapon and shield melee class, because they rip through you. Now, if you're a gargoyle, you do take 25% less damage against Torment, but still, just avoid it. Now, this guy here, this Orcish Knight, is a harder enemy, and he has, you can see this little like flaming icon in the upper right of this Orcish warrior. That means that he's been buffed up by this guy. He's like inspired him to fight harder. And he's also inspired all the guys around him. So these guys are like stronger than normal because of the knight. So that makes things a little bit harder, and we have to consider that, all right? Now, remember, at any time, if you're not sure what the hell is going on, like what the hell is this buff that this guy has, and what the hell is this guy, right-click on him, and you can see what they can do. He can do this, and any abilities that they can do, it will offer a description of it. It says he can battle cry, all right? And if you want to know more about that, you can just push the character next to it, A, and it says inspires nearby allies of the caster to fight more aggressively, increasing the strength of their blows. So basically, they just do more damage, which sucks, all right? So I'm going to just push S to wait, and push S to wait, S to wait, and now I'm just going to take this Orcish Knight up. Now, at this point, the Orcish Wizard who made himself invisible has also come up with me. He must have hit me and made some noise, which is why I have this silhouette that gives me an indication of where he is. But either way, the Orcish Knight's here, and all the guys he inspired are down below. So you've kind of like neutralized his buff ability. So I'm just going to swing at the Orcish Knight. Now remember, I'm using an axe, so when I swing my axe, it hits every enemy around me. But the enemy that I target takes 100% of the damage, and everybody else on these squares around me that I'm highlighting with the yellow circle, or the yellow square, takes 70%. So that's why you saw the Orcish mage who was in melee range just get obliterated and splash blood everywhere. Okay. Alright, I'm just going to stand here and kill these guys and kill that guy. Now I'm using tab to auto-fight to do that. Tab is something that's wonderful in terms of quality of life. I'm actually going to do a video explaining auto-battling and the philosophy of it and how to use it. It might seem like a simple skill, but if you push tab to auto-battle, you will, if there's an enemy adjacent to you, you'll just stand there and whack on an enemy that's closest to you. But if an enemy is not adjacent to you and you push tab, you will move toward an enemy in an attempt to hit them. See, so if I push tab right now, I'm going to close the distance to this Orcish warrior. Now that's useful, that saves time, but if you're not careful and you hold down the tab key and there's an enemy far away, you will start running toward them, and then other enemies might pop into view and just rain down ranged attacks, spells, and things on you, and, you know, F you up, and you're just dead, alright? So be very, very careful and judicious with how you use tab. It's great because it saves you time, but it can kill you at the same time. Now, I'm pushing S because I want more enemies to come up the steps with me, but this prick has a halberd, which means he can attack from far away, so he's hitting me from here, and he's not going to move into range. He's going to exploit his reach and use that from there. Now, however, I'm strong enough to take a hit, so I'm going to take some more hits and bring 2 enemies with me, just so when I go back down the steps, things are a little bit cleaner for me. And what do I mean by that? Less enemies, of course, but also stair dancing is one of the strongest tactics you can use in this game to keep your ass alive, but it's also very dangerous because, watch me, I'm going to go back down the steps, and let's pay attention to my text window in the bottom left here. The text window is an extremely awesome resource that you have that it gives you information on every single thing that's happening every turn. So if I go down, okay, it says you climb downward, okay? The orc shouts. This is all happening while I'm climbing downward and can't do anything except climb down the steps. Shouting alerts all nearby enemies, hey, there's a dickhead here, come kill him, okay? And so if anybody heard that, they're going to come try to kill me. But then also you'll see it says you block the orc warrior's attack, meaning I got hit. And what that indicates is that you sacrifice a turn of combat by moving up or down the steps. And so you better be ready when you go down or up, because they're gonna get free hits on you. So it's something that, like, there's many times when early in the game when I'm really squishy where I just instantly lose by going down the stairs, and some, you know, jackass ogre with a club hits me and I'm at the death screen and I'm just like, you know, what the fuck just happened? And oh, this guy happened. So you have to be careful about that. Okay, I'm going to stair dance up, and I'm going to move up and bring this Orcish Knight up with me. I'm being very, very cautious here. I could probably easily just kill them. But even with stair dancing, this guy with his reach weapon is going to get to swing at me as I go up, okay? So both guys got to swing at me. Even this dickhead who was moving up the stairs, you would think, you know, if there was any justice, he wouldn't. But you can see, I climbed upwards, and I had to block the Orc Knight's attack and the Orc Warrior's attack. And now here we are, and I'm just going to chop this guy down. He had some plate armor, so he was able to take a bunch of damage before he died. A little bit stouter, and that's the main reason you don't want to just sit there on the staircase and fight a guy like that with heavy armor, because he's going to take several hits, and that gives you the other enemies the opportunity to either hit you with ranged attacks or just move into melee range and swarm you, alright? Look at this. Here's a great example, okay? I came down the stairs, la 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 la, here I go down the stairs, and a freaking stone giant was like, have a boulder, asshole, and just threw it at me. This is my blood on the squares that exploded as he hit me. Okay, I have a 31 armor class, a 25 shield skill, and I'm wearing crystal plate, which has the greatest GDR in the game. GDR is guaranteed damage reduction, and still, he was able to hit me for nearly 30 damage, okay? That is scary. And I just came down the steps. Let's see. Yeah. I also got hit by an orc, but I blocked his attack. So, this is just, you know, he hit me again with his big rock. I'm not reflecting at all right now. That sucks, so I'm just going to stair dance. I'm going to go up the steps, take these guys with me. I'm going to swing my axe and just obliterate them. I'm going to chop these guys up for food, and I'm going to push 5. 5 is the key to rest in the game, and it just auto-rests until either you get hungry or an enemy comes into your view, or there is some other alert that the game needs to give you, or you fill up your hit points, which is the case here. Alright, and so I'm full up, I'm going to go back down, okay? And now we've got a real trifecta of jerks. I'm going to push S, and I'm going to take this priest up and just kill him by himself. And I'm going to actually do a preemptive thing here. I'm going to push A, and I'm going to use my god ability Heroism to raise all of my melee skills, my combat skills, armor skills, by 5 to make me a little bit stronger. And now I'm going to go down the steps, okay? Because I know that waiting for me down the steps, there is a stone giant, okay? Now, this time the joke was on him, and let me show you what I mean by that. I came down the steps, and he hit me, but only for 9. And then, I have to decrease the text zoom for you to see this. I headbutt him as a retaliation. Minotaurs have the chance to headbutt in retaliation to melee attacks. They don't do it all the time, but when they do, it's funny, and I hurt the guy. So I was like, hey, you want to hit me? I'm going to headbutt you. Alright, and I'm just going to stand here and fight this guy, because now that he's in melee range with me, you can see in the picture there, yes, he's a stone giant, but he also appears to just be wearing a belt and a kilt. So he didn't wear enough armor to the fight, and I'm going to chop him up. And I'm going to kill this jerk who's been just hitting me from range for days, and now I'm going to push O to auto-explore. The Orcish Mines is filled with gold, so this is one of the greatest places to get gold, and also to spend your gold in the shops. But if you found a shop earlier in the game that had some pimp item that you were looking to get, go to the Orcish Mines to build up your bank account so that you can buy it, alright? Here's a Wraith, okay? And just taking into account positioning, okay? This is the minimap over here on the right. All of this brown edging means this is the kind of like the extent to which I can see, and everything else is fog of war, or it's unexplored. The gray is the lighter gray is a solid wall, and this kind of like darker gray is the floor. Because I'm in this big open space, and then to my left and to my right are unexplored areas, I'm not going to walk over here and just fight this Wraith, because I could reveal that there's all kinds of bad guys down here. So as soon as somebody sees me, what I like to do is just say, oh, hey, let's walk backwards, okay? And I'm going to draw this enemy out. Now, for somebody like this Wraith, you can do that easily. If it's a caster, it's more dangerous, or a ranged attacker, you're obviously going to get hit while you do it, but still it's often the best choice to just limit the amount of people that you take on in one combat. Here, I'm just going to push S and let him come to me and obliterate him. I'm going to eat this piece of meat by clicking on it and just explore. Oh, okay, sweet God. Alright, Josephine's down there, okay? She's a named enemy, and named enemies in this game always demand your attention. Many are easier than others and might not really, quote, demand your attention, but for my money, every time I see a named enemy, I stop what I'm doing, I take my hands off the keyboard and the mouse, and I look at my options. I look for staircases, which are indicated as teal dots on the minimap. This entrance to the Elven Halls is this pink splotch. I'm the white square. And here's a staircase up as well. So those are all my escape, locales. Like if I needed to run away, that's where I could go. Now, additionally, what I like to do is look at the named enemy and remind myself of their capabilities. So let me show you. I'm going to zoom out, and I'm going to right-click on Josephine. Josephine, the Decaying Necromancer. Gross. So she's going to be doing a whole bunch of negative energy crap to me. So it might be worth considering equipping my artifact axe with double resist negative energy on it to mitigate a lot of her attacks. What is she up to? Okay, so remember, when you're looking at this information panel, this tooltip that the game gives you, she's got 70 hit points and her armor sucks. She's a caster. So if I get close to her, I will just murder her with my axe. It will be awful for Josephine. But while she's at range, she's dangerous. Now, this line here is what you want to look at with particular emphasis. It says she looks dangerous. That is a relative evaluation that the game is giving you based on your skill level, your experience level. And so you can use this as a rough guide. It's not always right. Like sometimes they'll tell you they look extremely dangerous, which is as bad as something can get, and you like one-shot them. Because it's not perfect, taking into consideration everything that you can do, but it's pretty reasonable. It gives you an idea, ballpark. She's immune to negative energy, she's intelligence, and she can hit me for 11 damage with her +0 dagger. So she's not going to do crap to me with her dagger. What she's going to do are these 3 abilities. And remember, all you have to do is push the corresponding key to see what these do. Vampiric Draining. So she can take my life of an adjacent creature, which is not scary at all. Please, for the love of God, do that. You can see here, spells tell you their range. this means adjacent. Like the at symbol is the caster, and then this caret right next to the caster means adjacent. If they could go for further range, there would be dashes to indicate like longer and longer and longer. And so you can get a sense for how far that spell can go. So I'm not scared of that at all. What about Ghostly Fireball? Well, you can see it can go farther. It's a ball of exploding negative energy that drains any living creature it engulfs. So that sucks. Getting drained sucks. It lowers your skills. It can lower your stats potentially, I think. And she can dispel undead, which I'm not worried about. I'm not another necromancer summoning undead to fight her, so that means nothing to me. So it's really that Ghostly Fireball that I'm worried about. And I gotta tell you, I'm not that worried about it. I probably should be, but I'm not. I'm just going to push A to get heroic. And she shouted, and I'm going to just close the distance to her. And I'm going to hit her with my axe, and you can see that she's getting obliterated. I did half her life and 1 health. However, just as a fun little aside, you can see that she screams, "I'll use your head as a decoration in my hut." Sweet God, that is quite the intimidating thing to say, but it also means you need to die even more. Like, my head is not your decoration. How about this? I'm going to use your head as my decoration. I'm just going to wear your head. I'm not even going to... I don't have a hut. Alright, so she's dead. Okawaru's happy. I'm happy. And these wraiths are happy. So, it's all good. We're totally fine. Okay, I'm pushing O to explore. Now, in the Orcish Mines, as soon as you see these stone walls, this is the final enclosure of the mines, which encases the shops that I want to find and the treasure of the Orcish Mines, but also all the hard AF enemies that are in here. So what you want to do, and I know it's painful, but if there's anything that Dungeon Crawl will teach you, is to be patient. I'm like the most impatient, you know, MFer in the world, but I've been beaten by this game so badly that it actually makes me respect it and be patient. And so what I mean by that is I'm going to just slowly draw out the enemies and not just charge into that final area and get surrounded by a whole bunch of summoners and difficult casters and screw myself. So I'm going to bring this guy right next to me. And this is where I like spellcasters to be, right next to me in my axe, so I can completely annihilate them. Okay, fantastic. My evasion is now up to 8, as my dodging has gone up to level 4, so I'm going to keep going with that. I'm going to have to do some research on evasion. I normally don't pay attention to it because I usually am focusing on my armor. And if I get evasion up, it's usually just a nice fringe benefit. But now I really want to start... I was talking to people on the Reddit, and now I kind of want to start thinking more seriously about incorporating that into my plans. Now, okay, chop that guy up. I think that it means it's an 8% chance to evade, I think, but it might roll differently than that. I'm not entirely sure. Okay, I'm going to chop this guy up. Oh, by the way, just, you know, might as well mention this to you. If you're ever not sure about the arithmetic behind the, you know, the way that the game works and the numbers, just go to the Crawl wiki, okay? Just like Google DCSS Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup wiki, okay? And it will bring up the wiki. And then within there, you can type in anything like evasion, right? And it will tell you immediately everything that they know about the game and what evasion does, okay? And so it tells me here that when an attack is resolved, so as soon as an attack happens, the target's current evasion, which is I'm going to be the target, and it works vice versa for them, is rolled and compared to the attack's 2-hit roll, factoring in any relevant situational modifiers. Only if the 2-hit roll matches or beats the evasion roll does the attack succeed. So, you know, as you raise this, then what that means is there's a higher and higher ceiling that they have to get past to hit you. So that's great. Or otherwise they just miss. Now, it really is not a significant ceiling right now with how bad my evasion is, but any little bit helps. It could be the difference between life or death, you know? So I'm going to raise it up. Now, as you can see, I'm hungry, so I'm just going to push E. And it's like, hey, do you want to eat a chunk of flesh? Which is something, you know, I get asked all the time. And then you just push E or Y to confirm that and eat some flesh. And it says, this raw flesh tastes terrible. I can only imagine, but such is the life of a dungeon crawler. Okay, so this guy's coming out, and the question mark by him means he doesn't see me. He doesn't know what the hell's going on. So I'm going to take this opportunity. I'm going to push F, and what F does is it queues up to throw whatever is in your quiver. And so I've got some javelins, so I'm just going to try to throw it at him. And I missed him. And now I'm immediately going to move out of the way because that was a funny little thing to just take advantage of that. But as soon as he's aware of me, he can much better take advantage of range than I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dance around this corner and limit his line of sight on me. All of these darkened squares are where I cannot see. And so that means if this orcish wizard like comes down here, and even if he's right here, which is almost right next to me, he can't see me and cast a spell that requires line of sight on me. He has to step down here, or like over here, or even here to see me. And so what I'll do is I'll just push S to wait for him to come to me. Now, I do want to point out, if you're a newer player, you see how this area is grayed out? What this means is I've explored it, so I know what the terrain looks like, and I know where monsters once were. But this is, as soon as I can't see there anymore, it's no longer indicative of their position. They are moving around, but it does help you remember. Like, there really aren't two of these guys. There's just one of them. But it helps you remember, like, how many guys are over here. But don't rely on that, okay? So I'm going to move up, and I'm sorry, I'm not moving. I'm just going to push S, 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 S until he finally gets here. And then I'm going to walk over to him and obliterate him with my axe. Unfortunately, he got off an attack, and he drained me, okay? Oh, maybe there were two of them. Anyway, so that sucks. So if you recall, this kind of draining, if your stats get drained, they just turn yellow, and they show you the lower number that they've been drained to. This kind of draining drains your skills. So I'll push M to bring up my skills, and you see that all of my skills have been drained, and they're in teal, or magenta, I'm sorry, to indicate that they've been drained. And you can click this button here to see what they were, and what they've been drained to, so you can toggle between it. So really, I've only been drained by 2/10 of a point, so it's not that much, but it's still annoying. He still must die for that transgression. All right. I mean, he did die, but all of his orc brethren need to die. All right, I'm going to step up and just destroy this guy, too. Okay. Remember, you get rid of draining by gaining experience and murdering people, which is something that we're really good at doing. Okay, especially orcs. Like, the Orcish Mines are fun because they're filled with little orcs that you see on, like, Dungeon 1 or Dungeon 2 that you can massacre. However, that can also be dangerous because you can get lured into a false sense of security where you think, oh, this place sucks. There are actually hard orcs here, and there can also be plenty of named enemies that you don't want to have anything to do with, or that at least require some strategy and finesse. So don't just be like, oh, these orcs suck, and then hold down the auto attack key. I know it's very tempting. Like, I want to do it so bad. I am going to do it right here because I'm far enough away. And I'm just going to run and kill these guys. But you can get tricked and think that you're much more powerful than you are because those guys suck, and then lose to better orcs. So don't let the better orcs kill you. Alright, see, look. This jerk has summoned I can't pronounce, a Nequosec or something. And this guy sucks. He's an enemy that you'll see in the Abyss or other extremely deep locations. However, he's only been summoned. So one way to deal with summon stuff is just walk away. They have a time limit, so whatever, right? I'll just wait here. I feel myself wasting away. That's not good. So what I'm going to do is get away from this guy. Now, you might think that it's a good path to escape to go up this trap door here. Remember, red staircases up or down are one use. So you really never want to use them unless it's an emergency. Because you can't go back down or up. Like, you're trapped wherever you are. And it's especially bad because remember how I said that the first floor of the Orcish Mines has an unexplored chamber on it? There's a very, very good chance that if I go up, I will end up in that chamber, and I don't know what's in there. I would say there's a probably 95% chance that whatever's up there I can obliterate, but there is a chance that there's something there that's harder than I want to see, or that gets lucky, and then I don't have a clean escape path, and I can lose. And so because of that, I have to weigh the risk of going up these stairs and having that happen, or standing here and facing this summoned dude. Now remember, you can always right click to see what he can do, and he can malmutate me, okay? Did that work? Oh my god. Is this going to be permanent? See, this is why these guys are such pricks, okay? Let me get this out of the way so you can see. So if you push Shift A, it will show you your innate abilities, weirdness, and mutations. The blue things are the things that I came with as a Minotaur, which are, you know, generally good things. The red is bad, as seems appropriate, and it says your body sometimes deteriorates upon taking damage. So these are the kinds of little things that stack up on you in the game and give you a real flavor as a character. You have all these like good and bad things going on with you, but I really don't want this. This is a terrible thing. So it's like sometimes when I get hit, I will become deteriorated, which means my max HP goes down, and that's just not good. So that's a really bad thing to happen. So to avoid any more funny business from this enemy that is summoned, I'm going to go up the steps. Now, it was only a chance that I went into an unexplored section. There might not even be an unexplored section on the first floor. Luckily, I ended up coming up here where I know where everything is, and I can just wait. Now, what would be tremendous is if, because that was a summoned guy who is temporary, that his kind of like negative effect that he put on me would go away, but I don't think it does. I think I'm just effed. And that's the breaks. That's crawl. Alright, so I'm going to wait here and kill this guy. And I'm going to start exploring again. I'm going to see if I can get rid of that by gaining experience. I don't think that I can, but I would really like to. There are things that you can do to get rid of those types of negative mutations or status effects like that. Actually, if I drink this, I'm going to drink this potion of cancellation and see if it gets rid of it, but not before I get out of here. This blue robe bastard is an Orcish high priest, and he's the level up of the green Orcish priest, and he can smite me harder, and he can also summon a bunch of crap. And so I don't mind fighting him, but I don't want to fight him next to unexplored stuff where things can pile on. So I'm just going to throw stuff at him. And look, he summoned, and what did he summon? Another complete asshole, and then this Rust Devil is also very hard. So I'm just going to go up before anything funny happens. Remember, summoned creatures cannot follow you up the steps, and they wear off over time. Now I'm going to drink this potion of cancellation. And it did nothing to affect this, okay? So that's a shame. I was really hoping that it would help me. It did not. Okay, anyway, that's fine. I'm going to wait a few turns here. I'm just going to push S a few times. I'm going to go back down, and now his stuff is all gone, and I'm just going to close the distance and kill him. He did summon some stuff, which sucks, but I was able to kill him before they did anything too dangerous to me, and when you kill something that summons things, most of the time the summons disappear. So that's the fastest way to get rid of summons. And again, it's not worth fighting summons because they give you no experience, so why are you wasting your time, right? Sometimes you have to, because the risk that, or the threat that they present is, you know, too great, but I try to avoid it at all costs. Alright, so this is the one of the entrances to their hellhole that they've got here, and I want to avoid it. I want to just lure things out one at a time. It might be worth just going up here to see if there's another entrance and to see, yeah, there is. So there's another way into this, and if I can lure anybody out this way, okay. It's always good to kind of like go on each side and go back and forth to see if you can split the enemy groups in any way. This is going to be a fun and dangerous step because I'm about to reveal a whole bunch of this. And yeah, I mean, I give line of sight to some jerk like that from a million miles away. All right. But what's cool is I get to go back here and make tactical use of this long corridor to lure the enemies. So I'm just going to push S and lure these guys back. Remember, even though this guy is cock blocking this dude, his smite ability does not need line of fire, which means it doesn't matter if this guy's in the way, he can just use that on me anyway. So I'm actually not insulating myself. Oh, here's another one, so let's step back so that you know, doesn't pile on. And look, whenever somebody smites you, it's in teal. And he actually hit me. He didn't hit me for a lot, it was 9, but still, that's like a level 1 dude. He shouldn't be able to hit me at all. But smite goes through my armor. And my shield can't block it. And see, there's a bunch of these guys in here, and that's the reason why you don't want to just run in and just do a blaze of glory thinking you're awesome, because one of these guys, yeah, hits you for 9. That's annoying. If there's 5 of these guys and they're raining on you, and then another guy comes out and summons a bunch of enemies that congest the area and make it so you can't escape easily, then all of that smiting adds up and can kill you. So let's be careful, shall we? Alright. By the way, everybody, if at any point you have any questions about the game, even if it's not related to what I'm doing right now, please ask me, and I would be more than happy to attempt to answer your question. I'm not guaranteeing you they can. I mean, I've played this game a lot, but I'm by no means an expert. There are people online, people who exist who know every single rule, every single stat, every single feature of the game, and I am not one of them. I know a lot, so I will do my best to help you. Okay. There was a shop down here, but it was closed down. That's a shame. Why'd you close up your doors? It was abandoned. Well, I mean, and, you know, to be honest, you can understand why you would abandon a shop that's located down here. What kind of customer base? I guess they're orcs. Anyway, sometimes shops have a timer on them, and so they will only be available for a certain amount of time within the game. And speaking of time in the game, you can see that up here, like how long, how many turns you've been going in the game. And like as I push S, it's 1 turn. This just ticks up. So like as I move 1 space, it moves by 1. Okay, so this is how many different actions I've taken over the course of the game, or you know, a very close approximation of that. And one thing I want to mention about that is I auto-explore, which is not an efficient way to travel. It's exhaustively mapping the entire floor, looking for everything, which is what I want to do. I'm not a person who goes for a high score in this game based on the speed with which I clear it. You will, when you win or lose, get a score for your run. And the faster you do certain things, the more points you can get. And some people online try to like get Zot's orb as fast as they can, and they never auto-explore. They always move around using the keys diligently, and that's cool. Like I don't have anything against that. To each his or her own, but that's just not my playstyle. I don't care. I go very slowly and methodically through the game because otherwise I'm gonna F up. I mean, I'll probably F up anyway, but all right. So, like I said, here we are. We've made it to the 4 shops in the center of the Orcish Mines. But before I go there, I'm going to map out all of this just to make sure there's no jerks standing around trying to fight me, okay? I pushed O to auto-explore, and it prioritized going into these shops, which is fine. So, artifact items appear in white, magical items appear in blue, and regular items are gray. This is a shimmering falcon. It's only 232 gold. This can sometimes give you an indication of how good the item is. The more expensive, generally, the better. Not always, but I don't use swords, so I'm not going to buy that. And I don't use anything else that's really here. So I'm not going to buy any of this stuff. I'm not going to be using a sling at this point in the game. So let's go check the other shop. Whoa, cool. Aww. Aww. Whoa. Okay. I'm like looking at things out of order, but the first item on the list here is insane. This is insane. This pair of artifact boots give intelligence +4, and really the winner is slaying +5. Slaying is a brand that if you're a melee class, you crap your pants over, because it just makes you do more damage. More damage is always good because it means faster kills on the enemy, which means less times they can fuck you up. So, I'm going to just make sure that I describe the slaying brand to you accurately. So I'm going to just click the dungeon wiki, and it says it increases a character's accuracy and damage in melee and ranged combat. It doesn't affect spellcasting, wands, or anything else that's not melee or ranged combat. It also affects unarmed attacks if you're like a troll, okay? Now, I think it actually... No, it doesn't affect my headbutts. I don't... No, I think it does affect my retaliatory headbutts. It does affect those, so that's great. Anyway, this is a huge pickup. This is like worth clearing the entire Orcish Mines to get. This is nice for utility because it has resist elect and resist corrosion, which I don't have yet, but they're -5, so I'm not going to get that. This plate armor would be good if I didn't already have better armor, but it also gives you strength -2, which sucks. And stealth, I don't care about. Flying is cool, resist negative energy is cool, but it's only +3, so meh. And then some regular gloves. I'm buying these right away, but let me just recommend as a strategy here, always check all the shops before you pull the trigger and buy something, because there very well might be something in the next shop that's better, that's more expensive, and you're like, oh my god, I don't have any money. So let's go in and see. That is not the case. Wow. This helmet is insane. Flying, resist elect, 9 magic points and 3 strength. That is awesome. However, I'm a Minotaur. I cannot wear helmets, so it does nothing for me. And then the bookshop. Do you have a manual? Nope. Nope. Okay, so then it's definitely going to be this pair of boots. Yep. I'll buy that. Now, I do have a pair of artifact boots, so we have to do a little comparison. My artifact boots currently give me MP +9 and stealth. So, the MP is nice for my Scarf of Spirit Shielding, but that's it. And it is in no way as good as these these babies. Hey, they're cursed, but they're slaying +5, which is sick, but also, and not to be undersold here, they have intelligence +4. Remember, my intelligence sucks. It's 7, and I wanted to get it above 10. This does that for me. And it's like, really? Wear these boots? And I'm just like, yeah, of course I want to wear these boots. And they're like, you idiot, it's cursed. I'm like, but no, I really want them. I'm actually going to just drop these artifact boots. I'll come back if I ever need them, but I don't see myself ever needing them again. This pair of boots are way, way better. So that's great. Okay, so let's keep exploring. And now we're done. Okay, so we've cleared the Orcish Mines. So now, we have a decision to make. Okay, and before I go anywhere, I'm going to pull up my skills. And I'm just going to kind of take inventory of what I'm training and how I feel about my skill situation right now. My shield skill is at 15. I'm sorry. My shield skill is at 16.8, okay? I'm going to go to my medium shield. I'm going to right-click on it and show you something. Okay, it says skill to remove penalty. So what this means is that you need a 15 shield skill or above to remove the encumbrance penalty from wearing this shield. And what that basically translates to into game terms is like, sometimes when you attack, if you're wearing a shield and you don't have a high enough shield skill, it will say your shield prevents you from attacking. Like, you fucked up with your shield, you fumbled it or something, and it stopped you from attacking. Well, I'm already there. So I think it's okay for me to stop training shields right now. I could make that argument until I get a large shield. You have to have a huge shield skill to remove the penalty from a large shield. And since I plan on doing that, there's really no downside. I mean, leveling this up just will raise my shield skill even with this. So I could consider taking this off, but I don't think I will. It's something to think about. Now, my axes skill, I never want to turn off. My fighting skill, I'm actually going to turn this off right now. I have plenty of hit points. I'm a Minotaur, so we get plus 10% hit points already. I will come back and get this, but right now I want to turn this off so I can channel my experience into armor, dodging, shields, and axes. And then I'm going to take the plunge and turn on evocations. Evocations is a fantastic skill because it affects your ability to use wands and items that are magical that you have to evoke to use. Like, for example, this Lamp of Fire, which is really, really strong. These require no magic points, no knowledge of spells, and you can evoke these and just do massive effects. Many of the items are better than others, but the higher your evocation skill, the better, and so it's worth having a nice evocation. Now, I used to want to train it even more because they had Wands of Heal Wounds in the game, which were a melee user's favorite thing, but I think they took those out. Now, time to decide where to go next, okay? So I'm going to push Shift-G to, look at my options. I could go to the Elvish Halls and try to do the first floor. I could go to the depths and try to, mess around in there. But I think my best option is to just go to the Snake Pit. The Snake Pit is hard, okay? And I don't have resist corrosion, which kind of sucks, but I do have resist poison, which is the main thing you want when you're determining if you want to go to the Snake Pit. So let's go to the Snake Pit and just see how we do. I can always change my plan if things go sideways, but I don't anticipate that right now. So let's go. Hey, Snake Pit, how you living? Alright, so here's the Snake Pit. I'm very hungry, so I'm going to take a bite of my food, and I'm going to dive in. Alright, Snake Pit. Okay, and so here are some of the enemies that you see here. This is a Naga warrior who can spit poison from really far away, okay? And he fights okay, but he's not really that hard. Now, this is an anaconda, and this is something that you need to, oops, zoom out so you can see it better, pay attention to. And the reason is because it has this ability, it says here it kills not by poison, but by constricting its prey. You need to watch out for its ongoing constriction, okay? Constriction, what that does is, just like an anaconda in real life, it starts to wrap around you and crush you. And it does, every round, it starts tightening and doing crushing damage to you, which sucks, but it also prevents you from moving. You're, stuck, so you can't run away. So you can get really, really hurt, both in damage and escapability by constriction, so you need to be extremely careful of it. Now, he's a snake, so he moves pretty quickly, so I'm just going to push S. You see I've moved back to the entrance, and I'm going to just stare dance him up, or try to. However, he grabbed me, okay? And he stopped me from ascending the stairs because he constricted me, so I have to kill him from here. So that's just an example of how annoying something like anacondas are, and they're one of the real challenges of the Snake Pit. There's a Phial of Floods, which is another item that I'm going to pick up that you can evoke to use. Alright, let's just destroy that Naga warrior. Okay, let's look around. Alright, here's another Naga warrior. And he is got his battle axe. Let me right click on this to show you what it does, okay? It unleashes a torrent of water from the phial and sets free the water elementals that dwell within it. So it's a great oh shit button that you can use. And I'm going to use it right here just for fun, okay? I'm going to use it on this guy. And so what has happened is it splashed out this water, and then a water elemental is now here and is going to fight this guy, or try to. Now, when you evoke an item like this, as you can see, it says once activated, this device and all other devices of its kind, which means if you have another file of floods, it'll be rendered inert, but they'll recharge as you gain experience, okay? And it says it's presently inert, so you can check its status by looking at it. But basically, for a time being, it's not going to be able to do anything. It has to charge back up by me murdering things. I'm going to push S to wait, and this guy tried to spit acid at me, which let the water elemental close into melee range with him and fight him and kill him. Alright, so there we go. And the water elemental doesn't have to stay in the water. He can move around. He's temporary. He'll just last for a little bit. Now, you see that my evocation skill is pretty low. It's actually as low as it can get. It's like 0.8. Okay. The higher you get your skill, the more water elementals that you summon, generally. So the better it is. So that's just another reason why I want to raise this up. Okay, here's a shock serpent. And he hits me for electric damage and his melee damage, and he has an electric bolt that he shoots. So he sucks. He just killed my water elemental, okay? I'm going to kill him. And Trog gave me some glowing boots. I'm going to pick them up. Now, I can't effectively check these boots out because I would have to try to remove my cursed boots. I could use a scroll of remove curse, but there's no reason to do that right now. I'll just save these until I need an item like that, or I get an identify scroll. But there's probably no way that they're better than the boots I have now. The only thing that they could be, that would be good, that they could be, is you can get an item called Boots of Running, and they let you move faster. And there's many times when that can actually save your ass, where it's like you put those on, and then you move like sometimes as many as 2 squares for every 1 that the enemy moves, and so you can just outrun things and escape. So it's worth it to have it, to just try to run away with those if you need to, or if you're trying to escape with the orb, for example, or cross a dangerous path. I'm going to step back out of all of the range of these guys over here who are just blasting me and move around this corner to limit line of sight. I'm actually going to step down further to just decrease the line of sight even more. I'm going to turn on heroism and get ready for the fight that's coming. Okay. I have to move up here because this guy's got his ranged weapon. Okay, so those guys were pretty easy. Like I said, the snake pit, at least the first floor, should be okay. Ooh, a scroll of identify. Let's see what these boots are all... Actually, no, I need to identify my potions. Okay, so here's something worth talking about. I have 3 potions of mutation, okay? I still have my negative, still have my deterioration 1. And you can see it here. Deterioration 1 that guy put on me. If you drink a potion of mutation, it tells you in the description, it mutates the drinker, removing several mutations, then granting a few mutations, at least one beneficial. So what this means is it's going to give me several mutations. One of them is going to be good. They could all be good, potentially, but very likely there's going to be some bad ones. And this is something where you're just rolling the dice. I have a friend who really likes to use these things. I don't. I don't like to mess around. Like, I prefer consistency, so I don't want to drink these. Now, however, the key feature of these is that they cure mutations. So if you get an enemy that puts negative mutations on you, you can use this to remove those mutations. Now, granted, you might get some bad negative ones that could be worse than what you had, but it's still worth a try. Okay? So that's the primary utility purpose for these things, is to cure mutation. Naga Mage, I don't want that. I'm going to fight this guy. He tried to cast an Orb of Energy on me. He's dead. Okay. So these Naga can generally hit hard, especially the guys with two-handers, but they don't have the best armor, so... and like Naga mages and stuff, they're not the best pure spellcasters. They're kind of like hybrid guys, so not too hard. Alright, So we cleared this out. Fantastic. Let's go down. Okay. Immediately as I go down, I'm surrounded by snakes, Naga people. So I'm going to go back up. And you see they did all kinds of bad things to me, trying to attack me. I'm going to pick another staircase. I stair danced up to fight the one guy, and I'm going to pick a different staircase to go down. Let's see if this is a better scenario. It is. It's a much better scenario. It's just one guy. Alright. And here's a ring. And here's a scroll of teleport. Great. Great. Alright. Here's a black mamba, which is one of the easier guys in here. Anaconda. Alright, so let's keep our eye on that anaconda. Okay. So I just held down tab right there because I felt pretty confident. And it worked out. Another potion of mutation. Whoa, 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 okay. I'm way too far away. This is a good example of like, the line of sight is terrible. There's this giant chamber, and they can hit me from far away. They've already hit me, so I'm just gonna step back here and go around the corner, and just I'm gonna go heroic just to make sure that nothing funny happens, and I'm gonna fight and kill these mages. And am going to rest. There we go. Okay, much better. I actually like seeing this Guardian Serpent because he's one of the few enemies I can eat in here. Most of the enemies' meat is not edible. Alright, so there's that Shock Serpent. So I don't want him around because he can hit me from range. But I guess it's too late. I need to do this. I'm going to go heroic, and I'm going to fight this guy and kill this guy. Great. Chop up... Ooh, the Shock Serpent. I can eat him too. Cool. Chop him up. Explore. Explore. Auto-explore. There's a sharpshooter nearby. Okay. So let's step back and try to minimize his line of sight by dancing back to here. And just keep pushing S. He will come. Oh. Alright. And then we have to move up to him and kill him. Oh, he had a little scroll of remove curse. Let's take that. And I'm going to just wait. Oh, here's another guy. Hello. Chop you up. Nope, can't chop you up. Ooh, you have a scroll of identify, though. That's great. Thank you. Alright, so I'm poisoned and hungry. So I'm just going to push 5. I will automatically eat. And then I'm going to keep pushing 5. Oh, I can't because there's this Naga here. I can't rest with him there. He's going to give me nightmares. I'm going to keep resting until the poison wears off. Now, I will use my scroll of identify and identify these 2 potions of ambrosia. Alright, so these help you regenerate if you need it. I don't normally use this, so I'm going to drop it. Now, I feel like I'm at a point... I'm also going to drop these potions of mutation for now. I'll come back and get them if I need to cure mutations, but that's so rare that you need to do that on the fly. Now, if I was going into the Abyss or someplace where mutations could be thrown on you willy-nilly, then I would carry those on me, but most of the time it's not necessary to carry them. I've got this ring here. Don't know what it is. At this point, I'm going to drop this Uncursed Ring of Magical Power. I don't need the buffer it provides. And that's pretty good. Looking at everything, I'm going to drop this Wand of Paralysis. I never use that. It could be good. Maybe once I get my evocation skill up. Ooh, cool. At this point in the game, when you're this late in the game, and I've identified as many scrolls as I have, finding an unidentified scroll is really exciting because it could be a scroll of requirement. Now I'm going to use this Identify Scroll to check out this ring, and it's a ring of poison resistance, which is awesome, but I already have it, so I'm going to drop it. I don't need it. And I'm going to read this ring. And it's a Scroll of Brand Weapon. Yes, I've been hoping for something like this. So, Scroll of Brand Weapon, what this does is it takes a weapon that, it can be magical with like just raw plus damage and accuracy on it, but as long as it has no brand, you can use it on it to give it a random brand. And I'm going to use it on my Evening Star. It's the only weapon I can use it on, as you can see. But I've been saving it for my Evening Star, and it's now an Evening Star of Freezing. So that's just a nice little perk that if I ever am in a situation when I need to hit somebody with freezing, like lizards, reptiles hate freezing. I'm in a snake pit, hint, hint. I might want to switch to that. So it's just, you know, a nice thing that can have. Otherwise, I'm good. Let's go. Let's keep exploring. Kill this guy. He constricts me, or tries to. He's dead. And I am done exploring. So that is the end of Snake Pit 2. I'm going to move myself over here to a down staircase. And this will be where I pick up next time. So let's recap the adventure. We cleared out the Orcish Mines, and we found a pair of insanely awesome boots with slaying +5 on them, and are wearing them. We have identified pretty much all the potions and scrolls, and we have created a stash on layer 1 to free up inventory space. We are currently leveling evocations to try to get better with wands and evocable items, as well as dodging, so that we can get our evade to be a little bit more impactful. And we are getting ready to go down into Snakes 3. So that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Everyone, thank you so much for stopping in, and hopefully I was able to help you get better at Crawl. If you want to watch the full playthrough, head on over to YouTube on my YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't, and I've got another character playthrough and this character's earlier videos if you want to watch those. Please follow me on Twitch, and I will check you guys tomorrow night. Please have an excellent evening and enjoy the rest of your night or day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.